right, I have returns, and we're gonna continue debugging this, right? So spawn area bounds x -5 to +10, z -50 to +100 is interesting, right? Because okay, and then spawn area global position 31 -31. Local spawn position -5.3 14. Sure. Is this look at this really quick. So returns the AABB for this visual instance 3D is what the tooltip says, right? For this visual instance 3D, which is what this class is. And mesh instance 3D must inherit from this. All visual 3D nodes inherit from visual instance 3D. A 3D axis aligned bounding box. Axis aligned bounding box in 3D space. It's defined by position and size, which are vector 3. As point, grow, get volume, get support, get shortest axis size, encloses, expand. Okay, so let's go back to the log, and what I want to do is I want to relate this information to spawn surface 3 as a thing in the world, right? So we have a transform on it of 0.119 meters and -44.793. What does it mean? So the mesh itself is 10 meters this way. Oh, right, no. It would be 10 meters this way, but we've rotated it, right? So spawn area bounds P and S. So why is it 15 units from -5 to 10? Where is the 15 coming from? That's this value here, this AABB. Oh, it's position and size. right? It's not, yeah, right. So the position is -5, -50. Size is 10 and 100, and that makes sense, right? So it's 10 and 100 because this is 10 and 100. What's interesting though is that the X size of 10, that's this, but when we rotated it, its X along this way is 100. So this spawn area bounds does not respect the transform of the mesh node. Do I want to try to take the AABB and transform it? That'll give me something that's roughly right, maybe? And we break other things. Okay. It's interesting. Ooh, I can hear the crackle. Okay, so we spawned some zombies. Like there's one here. And there should be others. Oh, way out there. Okay, so something is definitely not right. Position, -83, -38. Size, 77 and 77. Well, that's not right. Local space AABB, and then we want to do bar global bounds position. Yeah, I know I'm not using it. When in doubt, just add more logging. So instead of using bounds position, we'll use that global bounds position. But we use the size. And we restart and see if that works. It's not looking great. It's not looking great. So spawn area bound, position -12, -8 in an area that's 24 by 17. So area 1. Let's go look at this scenario here. Area 1 is the area here. And the mesh is 24 by 17. So this part's right. The transform on this node has to be combined with the transform here. -34 and 30. Spawn area global position. -45, -2. Is there a transform on this too? No. There's a transform on enemy spawner. It doesn't have a rotation. So where is global spawn area global position. Negative 45, negative 2. Where is that coming from? Global bounds position, negative 48, negative 17. Well, that doesn't make any sense at all. Okay. Spawn area global position. Spawn area to use. Global transform origin. World 3D space global transform 3D of this node. For the spawn area. So why is that negative 45, negative 2? Right? It should be based off of this. Right, this position and this position and oh, a thing that does happen at runtime when we load the level is we do rotate the world 45 degrees rather than rotating the camera. This was a thing that we did early on to get that orthographic kind of perspective. Yeah, definitely orthographic, but I meant isometric kind of perspective. Instead of rotating the camera and doing the math to like do that at an angle, is rotate the world 45 degrees around the y-axis. So that might be why the numbers are off. But I guess the thing is like the spawn position that we return, do we pick out here? Do we need... Actually, here's a thought. So if we go backwards a little bit, get rid of all of this, get rid of this. This is basically how things were. And then, so notice in scenario 1, the area that we spawn in is inside of the enemy spawner. And this is also where I believe the enemies are added to this node, meaning they inherit the transform. So if I take these and I put them inside of enemy spawner, didn't like that. Undo. Take these, drag these up, put them inside of enemy spawner. Don't flash at me. Alright, and then restart. Start game. Because, like, this works for this level, so why wouldn't it also stay contained? And the issue is, I think, transformation of like, if we're trying to position the enemies relative, basically, in order to do the thing that I was trying to do, where we were converting to the actual global position, then I would need to either undo that transform before returning, or put the enemies not inside of the spawner node, but like inside of the parent or something, because the enemies are getting transformed by the transform of the spawner? No? Okay, I don't know then. Let's just see if this improves the situation. You know, in 15 seconds when they start spawning. No. No. Okay. Local spawn position. Basically 0, -13. Is there. Or there. One of those locations. What's the deal? I don't know. But you know what? Let's take a pause on that. And maybe something will percolate through my subconscious while we solve a different problem, which is that our survivors are not being hunted. They are in the target's node, or group rather, so they should be, but it says cannot reach target, searching for blocking obstacles. Cannot reach target. We have a ground. We have a static body 3D for the ground. Okay, so what is different? We have ground here. It's on layer 1. It's not on layer 6? 2? Oh, there's ground body, which is on layer 1 and 5. Yes. Collision shape 3D. Okay. We have this 1 and 5. It's a much more boring collision shape. It doesn't have all that mesh stuff because it's just a plane. But that should be fine. What else is different here? Let's hide all that. Go away. There we go. Nothing else there. So we have a target. It's in the targets group. Anything special we need to do here for grounds? What's inside of grounds? Can we... nothing, right? Yeah, no, it's just a mesh instance. Why no pathfinding then? Static body 3D, 1 and 5. Array pickable, capture on drag. Okay. This is our, we made the first level, the first scenario that was kind of just embedded in the game. And so, this is part of the process of like figuring out how to, what needs to be here for, making additional levels or scenarios, as I'm calling them now. And it's a mystery. It's a mystery. If we go to the main scene, right, this is the container for the game. We have world environment, navigation region 3D. And this doesn't have a nav mesh, but it will. Source group name, navigation mesh source group. Is this something that I'm forgetting? That the yeah, so ground body or static body 3D for the ground is in this group, navigation mesh source group. But this one isn't. Right, so this needs to be in this group, and that will tell the navigation system that this static body 3D is something that it needs to care about for generating the nav mesh for this level scenario. So that is the part that I think we're missing. What I might do, if I can't figure out, I think it might be worth what. What am I trying to say? I have some additional ideas for the other problem. But let's get zombies in here and see what happens. In 15 seconds. What's nice about having a slight delay before zombies spawn in is it gives time for the nav mesh to recalculate. Since it's not a statically, like, we're not baking the nav mesh for each level. It just auto redoes it on a timer. Why did you choose to walk to there and to there? Why are they all ganging up on this guy? There we go. Also, I implemented a thing so the survivals will run around uselessly. There we go. The survivors are way too tough. They should not be able to take so much damage, but that's, you know, just for testing purposes. Why did all the zombies choose one target? I think the enemies have separate, they're supposed to have separate targets. Like, they shouldn't all be chasing the same guy, although that's kind of funny. You know, we could go faster. Just run the game engine faster. All right. Okay, that was just a backlog of messages because we have a bunch of logging turned on. Anyway, okay, so that fixed that issue. As far as the spawning, I guess the easiest thing that will probably fix our problem is if we reset the transform on all of the things. Oh, hold on. So in scenario 1, the enemy spawner is actually in itself transformed to a location. And then the area doesn't have any kind of transform on it. And that's why this works. And this is why trying to fix it for the other scenario broke this one, I think. Okay, so I'm not exactly, I don't like that. And so what I want to do is I want to copy the value of this position, and we're going to reset it. And then I'm going to go to this area and I'm going to paste the position. So now I'm going to break both scenarios. But this will, I mean, ideally, either way of setting it up should work, but it's going to be faster if I can test it with scenario 1. So yeah, it spawned over here because it's basing. It's doing something. It's doing something. Is this as simple as adding the global position of the spawn area to use to the bounding boxes? That thing? Nope. No, it is not. Can we... What if we did this thing that the AI just suggested? Not quite, not quite. What if... Let me get rid of this. So transformed at basis. The basis of this transform is composed of 3 axes. Together these represent the transforms, rotation, scale, and shear. Right? So the spawn area, global transform, inherits, node 3D, global transform, world 3D space, global transform 3D of this node. What is a transform 3D? It's a 3x4 matrix representing a 3D transformation. It contains a basis, which on its own can represent rotation, scale, and shear. But this also has the origin. See the matrices and transforms tutorial. It's been a while. I have a some grounding, some knowledge, but it's not current enough that I feel like I could really explain this, which probably means I should spend more time with it. So one would think then like if we just take the didn't I try this? I don't know, I'll try it again. No, I tried to add the position. Basically, what I think should be doing, this should be doing, is this spawn position is a location in a bounding box that is kind of like in local coordinates relative to the mesh. And so by multiplying in the global transform, we should be rotating and scaling and moving that position relative to the areas, the meshes transform relative to the world. Now, obviously that didn't work because the zombie spawned over there. That's wrong. But why? But why? Okay, so what did we log here when the zombie spawned? They spawned at 6:00. relative to what? Let's look at the remote tree. Where is the zombie added? Right there. And so the zombie's position is 38, negative 33. Which is interesting. So what is the relationship between this position that the enemy was placed in versus local spawn position? Oh right, but okay. Let's remove a layer from that. Let's try this again. And so we'll see what's going on here. So zombie will spawn in. And we can look remote at the zombie and its actual position. And this should align with what's logged. Right, so the zombie's position has moved slightly, but roughly 4.7, 7.1. Yeah. Okay. Pretty near the center of the map. The slight difference is just because, you know, the zombies moved around a little bit since it spawned in. What should it be? Well, area 1 has a mesh whose size is 24 by 17. It has a position of negative 34, 30. Okay. So one thing that one thought was that maybe something's happening to the value that we're returning from find random spawn position. But no. So all we do is we set the enemy's global position. Interesting. We set the enemy's global position to be the return value of this. That is... Is there not a... Interesting. What are the implications of that? I mean, obviously it does what we're seeing in the game, where the log says it's setting this position to XYZ, and we see the actual enemy position is roughly XYZ. There is rotation. That's normal. That's the enemy, the physics. But like when we look at enemy spawner, which is the parent of enemy, there's no position or rotation or scale. We look at the level is rotated. And when we look at main, there's no transform here. Okay, good. What is happening? Access to line bounding box in 3D space is defined by position and size, which are vector 3. So, oops. Let's add some logging. again, I know I'm kind of repeating myself, but I think it'll be easier to understand when we have a much smaller kind of test. So it thinks that the area 1 bounding box has a position of -12, -8, and this size, right? So we're dealing with this mesh that has a size of 24 and 17. So the size part is accurate. The position, -12, -8, is interesting. What is that? What is that? Right? So like if we look top down here and we measure like from origin, like none of this is 8 meters or 12 meters. It's much further. So why is the position -12, -8? Right, which is a much smaller, right? Because this is 0, 0, where these axes cross. So why? And it's interesting, right? It's not as if the enemy spawner has a transform as well. And it's not as if the rotation of the map would somehow change this, because that rotation is around 0, 0. So it's not, the spawn area is not getting any closer. So how does this work? Is this even the right thing to do? I mean, clearly it did work in certain circumstances, but is it the right thing to do? You're on our right track. Okay, hey. Ironic moronic. Hello. Thank you. So, am I on the right track? Also, hold on. I need to fix things. Can I move chat up anymore, or is that not really? I can move you up a little bit. Let me do that. There we go. So the audio visualizer is not in the way. Am I on the right track in the sense that I shouldn't be using Get AABB, or if I can only type global transform dot you got how the AAB work. Not exactly. I wish I could just click the method and see what it's actually doing. Sadly, generally when you click on things, it just shows you documentation, which is good, but like its position is half of its size, making the shape centered. Its position is half of the shape's size. Oh. Yeah, you're right. So it's that makes this position is half this, making the shape centered. Yes. Oh. Okay. So its position is not a position relative to anything except for the position of the spawn area itself, right? So dot is it don't we, yeah, we have a position. Can we just do this? Yeah, it's relative to itself. Let's find out if this works. It's funny how little... Oh, well, so far so good. Okay, that's looking good. Level 2. And in 15 seconds, we'll start getting zombies, and hopefully they will spawn along the perimeter. Oh, well, that's not right. And neither was that. I thought I didn't have trace level debugging turned on. Oh, I must have not changed that to 1. Okay. So like it should not have spawned out here or there. What about this? Nope. Definitely not right. I was so hopeful because this was working. And oh. So right. We couldn't just simply transform, like apply the transformation, because this vector is not a real position. What we need to do, I got it. We gotta do this first to get a real position, and then transform it with the basis, maybe. And the reason for that is because our spawn meshes are they're rotated in the scene. Right? So good. Hold on. Clear that slot. Can we unlock some things in the tech tree? Make things a little bit more interesting here. Also, zombies should be faster, really. Way too slow. And someday, I swear, someday I will fix the animation for the zombies and add animation for the survivors. It's just, you know, we'll get there. It's kind of funny in the meantime. I swear the animation I did grab for these did actually have like normal arm movement, so I don't know what I did wrong when I imported it, but also the zombies should really face what they're hitting better. We can pay for a turret. A turret. What, is this not in range? Whatever. Oh no, why did these spawn out here? It was looking so good too. Okay, that was wave 1. Little graphical issue there. Didn't like that emoji. Probably should have just like an icon in the thing. Yeah. What's up with this guy? And this guy? Something's not right. It was looking really good. What did I do wrong? Let me look at the logs. Okay, so selected spawn area, spawn surface 4 with these bounds. 75, -3, 79. Yeah, so these are too big, right? It's like -50 to +50 is the range. So why 75? Put the bases first when you're multiplying? Yes. Like so, I think you mean? Matrices. I was thinking there might be something where it needs to be like global position or global transform in some of these places. We'll see what this does. And let's go to control 4. I'll just do that. Yeah, still spawning out there though. Should it be like, so the spawn position here gets assigned to the global position of the enemy. So I wonder if we need to use global position here. And global basis apparently is a thing. Nope. One of those is wrong. Let's try this way. Oh, I might try it the other way around. Yeah, that's definitely wrong. This, but use the position. No, still doesn't work. Is this something where I need to transform all of this? It's so interesting. Why? I mean, this way is looking pretty good. It's just off. It's spawning things outside of the perimeter. Right, so if we go to scenario 2 and look at where the spawn surfaces are. Oh, first of all, this one is not positioned correctly at all. Interesting. Try global position plus global offset times offset. Yeah, I can try it. Yeah. But use global position. Global basis. times that. Let us try. So, can already tell that's not right because it spawned something over there. And then if we go to the second level, 4x speed, we'll see where stuff spawns. Some out there, some there. So some of these are right. A lot of these are right. But this one not. Local spawn position -44, -4. Yeah, that's not right. So if I go back to this, and I feel like this seems to me, intuitively, are the surfaces rotated? Yes. The entire map is rotated 45 degrees. So like we're seeing this at this 45 here, but the actual map looks like this. And when the game loads, the whole map is turned 45. So and then everything in it is part of that transform. But this feels right because this value is relative to the spawn area's position.
All right, let's bring that beat back.
This transform. Could we... I don't know. Can we do spawn area to use dot global transform? I mean, we definitely can. What's it going to do? Is the question. Well, that's wrong. It's so nice when I get immediate feedback. See that? That's fine. And both scenarios are rotated the same way, by the way. Like there's no initial rotation or position or scale on either level. And when the game loads, these are all rotated 45 degrees. So -38.24 is right there, yeah? Could we look at the 3D and we use the measurement tool? 24. -38. Yeah, that's about right. Okay. So, and the position and rotation on the enemy spawner is zeroed out on both maps? That's a good question. I think I did look at that, but let's see. Position 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. And scenario 2, spawner, transform 000000111. Euler YXE off. Same. Area 1. So this is the thing that we're creating the bounding box from. Doesn't have a position, doesn't have a scale. Has this position on a mesh. Scenario 2 has 4 surfaces, 4 meshes that it randomly chooses one from. The difference is that we are rotating some of these, and I could, if I remove that and I just change this to be the other way, I wonder if that could fix our problem. It's just a limitation that we'd have to respect. I did something wrong there. 110. What did I do? Oh, is this a copy? Oh, Twitch wants to run an ad, so we're gonna take a brief pause here to stretch my legs, and then when I return, we continue troubleshooting this. Hopefully we're approaching the end.